Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Midweek Musings, the Midweek Musings show where I give you a chance to respond to 3 questions pitted to you on Twitter. I have my little go and then it's your turn to get involved in these tweets. And I tell you what, we've been away for a while, but I tell you, we've got some tasty subjects to get our teeth into, so let's get into it. Before I start these, reading out these tweets, thanks very much to Lukey Malden and Red Hammer 8 who suggested these subjects. I haven't done one of these for a long time. I picked a couple of questions out, but schedules and just being too busy to make content on a channel we're trying to work on. That's ridiculous, isn't it? But yeah, we have been very busy, but I'm back for the new year, 2018, first musings of 2018. So let's get straight into them. Question number 1. Has David Moyes shown enough during his time at West Ham to earn a permanent contract once this season has finished? Not yet. We've had some really good results over the last few months. We've had some really bad ones as well since Moyes took over. It's getting that consistency, I believe. You go and beat Chelsea, draw at Arsenal, draw at Tottenham away. The Arsenal game especially, we was very unlucky not to win. And then you go and do things like lose at home to Newcastle and, just scrape past West Brom. One thing I will say about David Moyes, though, you've got to give him a little bit of a chance. I always said this, you've got to give him a chance. He hasn't had his players to work with ever since he took over. He's obviously taken over from Slav. Looking at the squad, and we'll get into this a little bit later, it's very unbalanced, and I think he's doing the best with what he's been given, really. He's got the players a lot fitter. He's got the players playing a little bit more football. I know that some people lack ambition, but at the moment, the way the past few seasons have gone, especially under Slav, where we've been on the decline, it's really important to now steady the ship, maybe for a year or two. So maybe he's done enough, I don't know. Maybe, his prime objective, of course, was to keep us in the Premier League. We'll be talking about that a little bit later as well. But no, he hasn't done enough for me at the moment. If he keeps us up and steady gives us a steady mid-table finish, ships out some of the players that I think are not trying hard enough, and gets in some of his own, and we really start to improve. Then the quality of football starts to improve. These things don't happen overnight. You've got to give the guy some time. But we've been Jekyll and Hyde since he took over. Really bad thrashings at Everton, a bad one at home at Newcastle, but then gone and done some amazing things like away to Tottenham, where we nearly robbed all 3 points, beat Chelsea, of course, at the London Stadium quite convincingly as well, and drew to Arsenal. Sorry, hitting the bar in the last minute, we could have beat them. We've got ourselves out of the relegation zone just by the skin of our teeth at the moment. A few draws stuck in between there, a good win at Stoke. So it's very Jekyll and Hyde, and it just needs to get that level of consistency before I'll be ready to turn around and say, yeah, give him a contract and give him a chance. Let's see what you guys had to say on Twitter. At Dan Lawless, our very own Dan Lawless. I don't think I could stand seeing us play negative long ball football again against the lower teams beyond this season. So he's not a massive fan of that. At Sean D. James says, it hasn't been long enough to make that decision yet. At Red Hammer 8 says his style is a necessary evil and it's sort of working so far, but not a style I'd like to witness beyond the summer. He has this window and 4 months to demonstrate a change, but right now I would twist in the summer. At Canning Town Len says, no, not in the moment, but judge him after he has 1 or 2 of his own signings, in brackets, hopefully. Well, I'll see where you're going with there, Canning Town Len. Alf Gasparo says he's had a mammoth job trying to turn our performances around, but I'm starting to question some tactics. So on that basis, can't say until the summer, but we should never have appointed a manager on short term, as that undermines everything. At Matthew Gouldy says, the point of moving stadium was going to the next level. Moyes is a good manager, but for me is not the next level, and current board sadly will never get us to that point. Come on, you irons. Stephen Barnes says, nope, not yet anyway, short but sweet. James Noonan says, no, the man has no plan for attack, but can we bring him in when we play the top 6? I don't think it works that way, mate. At Jamie Gill says, no, not for me. He's doing his job at the moment, which is keeping us in the league. But for me, we need a better manager in the summer, such as Silva or Benitez, and to start again next season. Nigel Bunning, very, very short answer, just says, nope, capital letters. He's not impressed. At Tommy Tiger says, we have to see how the rest of the season goes before making that decision. At Ricky Stainton says, think is how many times we can change it. I think he means thing is how many times can we change manager to a similar level one and think that will help. We don't have good enough players and never will under these owners. At Enigma UK Mike says he has done well since coming in, but there's still half the season left. Ideally a progressive manager would be nice. At Glenn Boy says, not yet, but if we carry on in the league as we have done recently, then I will consider it. Who else is out there? Silver at Watford? Well, they're all free. They are in free fall now. At John Lister says, at the moment, yes, taking control during poor form and having started with hard fixtures improved the defence. I now hope the attacking flair of the team improves. Sitting back against Tottenham is a completely different game to playing Huddersfield. I think that against the big 6, he needs to try and grind results against teams around us. We need to break teams down more. I'll take a couple more of this. At Reece Tiley says, really like him. Get in some of his players, give him a few seasons. Hopefully we can progress like it's Everton team. I don't mind being defensive, better than being destroyed 4-0 at home. I'll remind you of Newcastle. At Sarah the Bastard says, how fitness and defence has improved massively since he's come in. If he keeps us up, then he should probably get a new contract. Tim G just blatantly said, nope. West Ham Mania says, no, not yet. And to be honest, unlikely. And I'm going to take one more. Mark Sherman Brown says, he has got the team working harder, but it's results that matter. We can only decide once the season's come to an end where we are in the league. For me, he and his team have had a positive impact, and I would love to see them do well and get rewarded with a new contract. Thank you very much for getting involved in that one. So on to number 2, transfer window time, of course. So we're always going to be talking about transfers or lack of them. So question number 2. Where are the signings that West Ham so desperately need? A very short and sweet question. I haven't got the answer because, you know, it's so obvious that we are lacking in so many, you know, if not lacking in that position, but lacking in depth in so many positions. Our squad is so thin, it's so unbalanced. And it shows, you know, a couple of injuries and you know, we're really struggling. No, we haven't got no depth. You know, we're blatantly struggling in midfield. We haven't got a striker that is, you know, on it 24/7. You know, Hernandez looks so disinterested, it's unreal. You got Sacco trying to work his way out of the club, refusing to play and doing all that sorts of nonsense. The same thing he's been doing for 2 years, yet we keep on rewarding him with new contracts. It's ridiculous. You know, Arnautovic, arguably our best player this season, and he had a terrible, terrible start. He looks like a different player under Moyes, but Antonio looks like a different player under Moyes, where, you know, we're not seeing him. He's not fit. He's not, you know, and when he is fit, he's not doing what he did do. You know, there's so many differences, and players do react different to, you know, different managerial styles. But where are the signings? You know, we're desperate in midfield. Czech Kyoto, for me, has been a disgrace this season. He had been in the last season as well. He started his decline. We desperately needed that William Carvalho deal to go through in the summer, and we never got it over the line. And there's been all this nonsense about, you know, was there a bid made? Wasn't there a bid made? Doesn't matter. You know, at the end of the day, we didn't get the man. The window's open again. You've had 6 months to work on it. Look, where... This is what annoys me about the board. You know, they've sat in front of us. You know, the vice chairman sat in front of us, turned around and said, "We've got money to spend. We're going to spend money." Blah 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 blah. You had 6 months to work on deals. You know, you had 6 months to look at where the positions need strengthening. I was hoping for some, you know, some deals this week. We've got, you know, again, some big games coming up against some big relegation rivals that we need to be pulling away from, and we need to win. This is where we've gone wrong in before, where we've gone into the Newcastle game desperate again in midfield, conceded 6 against them this season in both games. Relegation rival, of course, and yet we persist in playing the same people over and over again. Look, at the end of the day, it's not injuries that are killing us at the end of the day, it's form. And some of these players' form have been in decline for the past couple of years. And, you know, how many chances did you give him? How many chances did you give a Czech Kyoto to get back to what he was at the Boleyn? No. For me, he's got no chances left. Obiang has been poor this season. He's had a few flashes of brilliance. Of course, Tottenham, the goal against Tottenham being, you know, the obvious one to point out. But, you know, we're so light in midfield. We ain't got a striker that looks interested. Hernandez, he does not look interested in playing for the club. It's obviously a Moyes thing. We've been slacking a little bit on the defence. Yeah, of course, we've got Rice and Ogbonna and, you know, Collins to come in. Because Fonte's been, you know, he's been injured for the past few months now. He's getting ready to come back, I think. But they're all aging. They're all aging defenders. You know, you look at our defence. One of them's 34. One of them's 35. You know, how long can you keep these people around for and not thinking about replacing them? But they've had 6 months. They knew we was desperate 6 months ago. Why isn't there anyone signing on the 1st of January? Everton did it. Everton were lacking a striker. They had that Calvert-Lewin. They had a striker in on the first couple of days. We still haven't seen a signing for West Ham. In fact, all I've heard, apart from a couple of whispers and a Russian that seems like he wants to sign for us, all I've heard is players want to leave. Sacco wants to leave. Carroll's, you know, the subject of a bid from Chelsea. Hernandez now looks like they're listening to offers for Hernandez. When are we going to see our strong squad getting stronger? And that is the problem. We lack so much in depth. You know, we lack so much in depth. We have literally got nobody in midfield. We've got Noble, Kyoto, Obiang. If one of them gets injured, hopefully not Noble, the other two are in such bad form that, you know, you need cover. You need to, you know, they always look at, oh, you know, we've got 3, you know, if there's one injured, that, you know, there's still another 2 there, and hopefully they'll carry on until the next one comes back. As it shows in the defence, it doesn't work like that. We've always struggled in defence with injuries, and in midfield, what they don't plan for is a loss of form. Noble was out for a little while. Them 2 have been awful. You know, people are walking through our midfield, and the way people are jogging back, you know, I was looking at Czech Kyoto again the other day against Shrewsbury, just jogging back, not giving a fuck. You know, get him out of the club. Or at least, if you don't want to shift him out just yet, get someone in that does want to play for the club. Get someone in that will give you a bit of effort, because that is not good enough from them. Where are the signings? When are you going to fucking put your hand in your pocket and go and get the players that we desperately need? Are you waiting for us to go down? Are you waiting for, you know, us to stay up and you can go and nick the players from the relegated clubs like you're probably going to? What are you doing? Why are you sitting on your hands? Why are you not doing anything? Anyway, I'll give you your say. I could talk about this all day because it's really frustrating. You know, it's always frustrating that they leave it to the last day. We done our business early in the summer. Why isn't there a signing waiting to come in on the 1st of January? You know, Van Dijk was having pictures done in December. So it just proves that deals can be done, you know. Let's have a look at what you guys had to say. Sean D. James says, that's a good question. I wish I knew the answer. Sean, I wish I knew as well. Josh Lister, we need a right wing back. In other words, a Masuaku for the right side. As Zab hasn't got long. We need a CDM who controls the game. Where are they? That was a question, not who do we need. Where are they? Alf Gasparo, where do I start? Midfield is a must until the end of the season. Right back and possibly more dynamic striker. Honestly, none of the linked transfer players have filled me with enthusiasm. We have definitely lacked a transfer plan, and Moyes is being supported by a big transfer fund. At Billy WHUFC says 100% midfield. All we do at the minute is get the ball back, boot it. Check is a passenger, may not as well be there. We need someone who can hold the ball for longer than 5 seconds and also make a decent pass. Someone good at set pieces won't go amiss either. Tommy Tiger says, midfield should be the priority this window. Definitely, 100%. Why isn't it? Why isn't there a midfielder getting in my club right now? Even if it is John Joe Shelby. At Den Vincent, we need one defensive and one attacking midfielder. A right back with pace would be good, but Byron might look good at right wing back. Serif the Bastard says, we need another centre back, CDM, CAM, winger, striker. We get all of those and we might avoid relegation this season. Nick Harvey says, no need for another central defender when we now have Rice, Oxford and Burke available. Need a couple in midfield, definitely. One who is a true defensive midfielder and the other with some creativity, as Lanzini is our only option at that respect. We need a striker too. Sacco and Carroll haven't been relied upon, so get rid of them. Hernandez will never suit the way Moyes wants to play. Antonio isn't and never will be a central striker. Use him out wide once he's got his fitness back. And in reality, we're left with an Arnautovic and an unproven Martinez. Mike Byron says, with Reece, Rice, Oxford and Burton squad, I don't think we should get after a centre back. We need at least one centre midfielder, a striker once Sacco goes, and possibly another winger to inject some pace into the squad. Jamie Gill says centre midfield is the priority, but I think we also need cover for Zabba as a centre back is a centre back and a striker if Sacco goes. At Waffalek says right back and midfield. In the summer, we need to address the goalkeeper position and striker situation as well. Martin Gordon says one defensive midfielder and a right back. And Imrano says, you really think those tight dildo brothers will pull out some money? They ask to sell players and then give a quarter of that back to the squad. I think Imrano's not hit the nail right on the head there, to be quite honest with you. Right, last but not least, and this is something that's come up a little bit over our Twitter over last week. Let me give you a little bit of context before I answer the question. Last week, I did an interview with someone where I said that the game, the replay against Shrewsbury, is a game that we don't need. Someone, I'm sure you saw me talking to him on a Monday morning, took exception to this, as he always seems to do, because to be honest, the bloke's a bit of a plum. He took exception to this and started questioning, you know, this is the modern age, this is the new age fan, this is this is that. Oh, look, I've got an opinion. Do I want to be going over to London Stadium on a Tuesday night? No, I wanted to finish him off there and then. To be honest with you, we're very lucky we got a chance at a replay, and I'm not dissing the chance, but do I want to be going to a Tuesday night to Shrewsbury when, you know, I've just travelled after Whit from Brett for the country to go and watch them once again? No, it's a game we don't need. Bear that in mind as we move forward to the question. In light of the drab performance in the Carabao Cup quarter-final and luckily escaping with a replay at Shrewsbury, is Moyes right to be concentrating on keeping us up? No, he's not. At the end of the day, the squad we've got and, you know, the power we've got and the money we've got, we should be able to concentrate on at least one of those cups. FA Cup is going to be difficult. It's a more prestigious cup. But we was in the cup quarter-final against Arsenal. We was in the cup quarter-final against Arsenal with a fantastic chance of beating Arsenal that night, as Nottingham Forest have shown quite easily. It's possible when you get at them and you hit them with pace and you hit them with you know, with all sorts of armoury. If you've got, you know, pace in your squad, you're likely to beat them. If you've got, you know, any sort of bollocks about yourself and they ain't up for it, you're likely to beat them. Forest have just demolished Arsenal in the FA Cup. We played them in the Carabao Cup in a competition where arguably they played more kids. A chance to get into a semi-final, a two-legged semi-final against Chelsea, and we threw it away. We tossed it right in the bin. Nobody seemed interested. The manager didn't seem interested. The players on the pitch didn't seem interested. And that's sad. That is very sad. I want to go to Wembley. You know, I want to see West Ham win a trophy. I've never seen it in my lifetime, and I'm no bastard. You know, he's not right to be tossing them away like that. But I must say this: 6 months he's got very important league games coming up. We've lost some, we've won some. The form's up in the air at the moment. Obviously, Shrewsbury was You know, it's a banana skin that I've seen West Ham slip up on many times in the past. And to be honest with you, we was lucky not to come away with a loss there, to be honest with you. And if they'd have got one, they would have got four. You know what I mean? Like, we was that bad that day. No shots on target. Premier League club. Very drab game. Barely see it because of the sun. So I can understand that to a certain extent. But the Arsenal game, no excuse for it. But as I was saying, he's got 6 months. He's got important games coming up. At the time, you know, we didn't have as many points as we would have liked. We had big games coming up. You know, he's got a piece of paper that says your job this season is to keep us up. We'll give you £2 million if you do. He's not gonna concentrate on anything else, is he? Bilic was here. Bilic was settled. He was taking the cup a bit more seriously. But you know, Moyes, that is not what he's been brought in to do. He's been brought to keep us in the Premier League. And unfortunately for us fans, and it's only us that suffer, you know, the players don't give a shit. You know, they can move on. If they're good enough, they can move on to another club. And I'm sure a lot of them are thinking about that in the summer, where they can get an opportunity to win a trophy. You know, they don't give a monkeys. The managers obviously doesn't give a monkeys because he's not been told to get to a cup final. He's been told keep us in the Premier League, and you know we'll talk about a deal in the summer. So he's not fussed about the cup. The only people that suffer is the fans. You know, a chance to go to Wembley, a chance for a day out. You know, and with the way the big teams take the Carabao Cup, it was a chance to to really take it to Arsenal and really, you know, knock them out and have a good go at Chelsea and a chance to get to the final. So no, it's not right. It's not right to take that seriously. But saying that, I can understand why he does. So we don't want any replays. That's what I will say. Anyway, let's see what you guys had to say on Twitter. Sean D. James says, fucking bullshit. The thought of us having won and potentially getting Bristol or even Chelsea and finally having a official piece of silverware is just disheartening. I'm shocked Shrewsbury didn't beat us. I would think 17th League Cup win and an FA Cup run would be manageable. Joshua Lister 8 says, performance down to fatigue. 2 strikers couldn't get on the ball. No midfielders. Kyoto kept following the ball, isolating Obiang. Tommy Tiger says, his job when he took over was to keep us in the Premier League. As long as we stay up, then he's done what they've asked him to do. Dan Vincent said he put out a good team that was more than good enough to beat Shrewsbury. It was fatigue, injuries and a midfield partnership that let us down. Alf Gasparo says yes and no, but that doesn't excuse the awful display. He has tactically failed to create a winning momentum with those 2 games. Winning breeds winning, so I'm not a fan of making wholesale changes and not giving respect to cup games. At Enigma UK _ Mike says keeping up is good, but a cup run is a cup run. I'd rather say finish 16th, but get one of those cups and 10th and nothing. Glennie Worrell says he doesn't have the players at his disposal at present to be able to create a team that wants to play in a certain pattern. I think he is doing a decent job given the crap we have in our squad, and if he keeps us up, I will consider keeping him. Who else is out there? At Sarah DeBartler says, I have zero faith in our owners attracting the right players to join a club. If we get relegated, I don't trust them to get us back up. At Tim _G says, no, illustrates he can only play one way, which is all his ex-team supporters know. He's a dinosaur. Mike Sherburne Brown says, all fans love the FA Cup and it's currently the only way we're going to win a trophy. In my opinion, staying in the league is more important than the FA Cup. He can use the FA Cup to experiment with formations and players. Priority must be the league. At Jamie Norwood says, he went halfway into the season and his job was to keep us up. Shows the ambition the owners have. And Nick Harvey says, don't agree with the way we threw away the Carabao Cup, but accept we have a thin and totally unbalanced squad lacking any depth. Keeping us in the Premier League has to be the priority though. Jamie Gill says the priority is definitely stay up, but that does not excuse how poor the performance was, especially with a strong side out against a League One team, let down all the fans who made the journey. Martin Gordon says, yes, the Premier League is the club's bread and butter. Don't want us to go through religion again, but I'm sure you meant relegation, Martin. And last but not least, final tweet of the day says, Paul Knight, staying in the Prem must be the priority. Exactly. Right, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Monday Musings. Go and check out all our other content. Transfer videos galore coming up this week, I know. Loads of stuff happening in the transfer window in regards to selling, not buying. We should have already made a couple of signings, of course, but, you know, it is what it is. Go and follow us on Twitter at West Ham Fan TV, facebook.com/West Ham Fan TV. Go and check out all of our content coming up this weekend for the Huddersfield game, big important league game. And obviously we'll be going to Shrewsbury again on Tuesday. And whoever we've got next week, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's Bournemouth, is it? Bournemouth? Who knows? Once again, thank you for watching. One thing left to say, come on you ones.